Burris is traveling today on the way to Alabama. And it's great to see everybody coming onto the call. My name is Matt Bogosian. I'm the Executive Director of the American Manufacturing Communities Collaborative. And this is our weekly Monday national call of regional stakeholders around the country and BFFs working on strengthening American manufacturing from the bottom up. If you're new, please put your name and affiliation into chat. Well, everybody, please put your name and affiliation in chat. So we can share information on chat as we go through the call, and engage and get to know one another, and work together across the country. As you know, on some Mondays we have presentations like we did last week with Nate Oley at IEDC, and other Mondays like today we're just going to have a round robin discussion about really anything you want to discuss. We have some big news, not coordinated this way, but good timing insofar as the EDA Tech Hubs program got announced, so we can talk about that and all of these other initiatives that are out on the street. How do you guys look at those as opportunities, challenges, how you weave those things in? But these are open calls. If something's cool that's happening in your neck of the woods that you want to share with other regions that can help them figure out this complex system and make progress in it, that could be well received. You can do that by chat or as we're doing the round robin. This is a community of practice where we're all from whatever perch we happen to operate from, we're looking for a more meaningful role in this meaningful work. I see some folks on here from around the country we've been talking to. We have we put this in the AMCC update and it's on our website, but we've been doing these AMCC roadshows around the country. And Chad, Louisiana, Brian in Alabama, see Fred in Wisconsin, lots of folks, even from our institute, Susie from ARM, others working with us to co-create some AMCC roadshow visits next year. Cross-pollinating these regional initiatives is one of the benefits of these visits, and oftentimes, when we visit around the country. So lots more you can learn about that at our AMCC Roadshow link on the website. And if you looked at the AMCC update, we, again, like I started off with, we posted just a whole slew of recent announcements of designations, but also of new opportunities. So I want to get to that. But this is a round robin, and so I want to make sure that there's an opportunity for folks to raise issues in the chat or things. The big announcement, of course, is this morning is the Tech Hub program. And David, can you drop the link into the chat there if you haven't seen it already? Thank you. And if you all recall, the Tech Hub program, which was embedded within the CHIPS and Science Act, was modeled after the IMCP initiative, and so many of the great stakeholders in AMCC now that created AMCC, and really a lot of these other federal programs have been emulating it. So there's a lot to take in just with this one, Department of Commerce program, but there's so many others too that we cited there. So I'm going to start to go through those a little bit. Yeah. So Linda, please.
President is going to go on at 12:15 Eastern time and do the announcement.
Oh, say that again. That didn't come through to me anyway, to Linda. Yeah.
The president will be going on the air at 12:15 to announce Tech Hubs.
Nice. Thank you.
Casey will drop that in the chat.
Awesome. Very cool. And so much effort goes into these applications, and many of you are involved in it. And so it's it's exciting to see, what's coming out on the other end. One of the big topics that we've talked about a lot on a lot of these competitions is that it engenders a lot of collaboration within regions, but of course, everybody doesn't get one right off the bat. And so, what are the best practices for continuing on to take advantage of the collaborations that have happened in just putting together the applications? Um, and so it's just, this is a kind of a celebration, and yet, a lot of work in progress involved here with this one announcement. But so many others, like I was saying at the outset, are going out there. I don't know. We have some of our friends from EDA on the Tech Hub Pro. I don't know if, maybe Tori, you're more fluent with the Tech Hub program folks. Is there anything else you want to say about that one in particular?
Hey, good morning, everyone, and congratulations to those of you on the call who received good news. I don't think we have any additional talking points beyond what's been shared, Matt. The fact sheet has all of the information that we've put out as of right now, and I'd encourage those of you who can to join at 2:15 for the bigger announcement. But again, congratulations to everyone, and thanks, Matt, for always thinking about the lessons to be learned through these programs.
Yeah, thank you, Tori. It's exciting news, and lots happening there. So let's see. A couple of other, big announcements, right? You just in the last couple of weeks that our friends of the Department of Energy designated gave $7 billion of awards in 16 states on the hydrogen hubs. And remember, what these things are all about is really, in large part focused on the manufacturing sector. And so, like, when we're talking about how do we weave things together, being fluent in what's happening with these hydrogen hubs is super important. It's focused, our North Star is around sustainable development, which is, of course, strengthening our regions economically, but also with DEIA and environmental sustainability and national security. And one of the key things is lowering our GHG emissions from the manufacturing sector. Arguably, you can about 30% of our GHG challenge is in the manufacturing industrial sector, and our pathways to reducing those greenhouse gas emissions are not as clear as the other key areas of GHG emissions. So we've got to do better, and it's going to be up to our regions to operationalize the fuels necessary to reduce those greenhouse gas emissions. So that's why we put that in the AMCC update. And one thing going forward is, that we need to talk about on this call, like with all these other initiatives, but especially this one, is how do we accelerate the pace of applying these new fuels in the manufacturing sector. So so that's in the AMCC update. David, I suspect, I'm not looking at it, maybe hopefully you're dropping these in here. Yeah, great. Thanks, David, into the chat. So these are the things that are also in the AMCC update. Well, let me ask, is anybody involved? We have a lot of the Tech Hub. We have a lot of regional leaders. Is anyone on this call involved in a hydrogen hub application or designation? Well, if you're not, then I think you ought to be. I guess that's where I'm leading to that one. So anyway, and that continues on. We had the SBA, and we're excited about learning more about opportunities in SBA. They just announced 4 cluster awards. One of them is focused on agriculture in Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi, and Tennessee. Second one's focused on defense in Minnesota, Wisconsin, North and South Dakota. One's on cybersecurity in New Jersey, and one's in smart sensing in Montana. So that's another set of recent awards to consider linking up with. And then we're also looking at responding to NSF RFI, all this lingo. So that's the National Science Foundation. And they put out these things when they want to collect information on particular initiatives. And if you remember, there's this NSF Engines program that has proliferated a lot of innovation competition around the country. So there's one that's out there right now. And in it, they're talking about and announcing $160 million awards announced later this on the NSF Engines. So a lot involved there. Back to the same theme that I started with, like how do we weave these things together? And then there's new ones on the street that we put in the AMCC update. This, I don't know if Alex is on from the Department of Energy. I don't think it's his office, but the Office of Technology Transitions in DOE has this EPIC Round 3 as a competitive funding. Like on our AMCC roadshows, almost every region we go to, we're introduced to these incubators. They could be nonprofits or for-profits, trying to help entrepreneurs, innovate. That's one of our best American things. And this DOE EPIC program is focused on trying to help that. They're going to select up to 20 of these, I guess, incubators, for lack of a better term, to get $150,000, and then that could lead to $1 million down the road. So that's very cool. That's in the AMCC update, and then another one is this DOL, Department of Commerce collaboration, which we're hoping to have somebody come on Monday call to talk more about it. But basically, it's this advanced manufacturing apprenticeship sprint. There's lots happening on apprenticeships. Our BFFs at DOL have a lot going on there, and they have a collaboration with the Department of Commerce. And the White House is really trying to draw in a lot of public and private partnership that's going to accelerate apprenticeships. And federal interventions are playing their role. I know DOL has, I think, almost $100 million in this building pathways to infrastructure job funding. 34 grantees, a lot of those on renewable energy and transportation, advanced manufacturing occupations. So that's a big one on the street. And in that advanced manufacturing apprenticeship program, they list all of the different agency activities. They list the Defense Manufacturing Community Support Program with HEWAT and our friends at DoD as a part of some of the tactics to strengthen apprenticeships across the country. So lots of cool stuff there. There's a fact sheet and program sheet on that, and you'll see really it's a lot of the kind of the targets are around what we call sustainable development, economic development, DEIA, and environmental sustainability and national security. There's one in there from the Health and Human Services Agency, directed at supporting job creation in low income. And there's so many more. We're not even getting to all of those. So let's but there's a lot out there. Let's go around a little bit and ask folks how, if at all, you're navigating all of these opportunities. Tulinda, you were talking about the Tech Hub program. It's very exciting, but you guys have been involved in several of these in the state of Utah. How do you navigate that? Who goes through all of these things? How do you take advantage of something that your set of stakeholders haven't really been involved in the past? What's your mechanism for doing that?
Oh, it's a simple mechanism. We call it our R&D, which is run and do it. Come on.
So okay, no, right. Okay, so move out, don't wait. I get that. And so what are some of the activities in moving out on that? Yeah.
Well, how UAMI is so successful in generating collaboration amongst many diverse stakeholders is by establishing a working group system. So we have multiple working groups that we established under the Defense Manufacturing Community Support Program, but now we use for everything. So, for example, when the state government gave to our, what we call USHE, Utah System of Higher Education, a grant to help bring return to work, get new Americans here in Utah jobs in manufacturing, I just called up our workforce task force, as we did when you guys were in town. Not task, a working group, our working groups, to address each of the issues. And that's what we'll be doing in the EDA Tech Hub also. But it is going to be challenging to balance, it is challenging to balance multiple federal awards. One of our secret weapons also is LSI. We rely on LSI to help with our compliance and our reporting of metrics.
So that's like, yeah, no, that gets at it. And that's a grant, consultant, or that tracks these things. That's one tactic. We were just in California. I see Trish Kelly on here, longtime regional leader. We were just in California. They have a statewide nonprofit organization that tries to herd the cats in California. So we were lucky enough to participate with them. Their governor's office has I would say a quasi coordinating group, but that's been active, inactive over the years. I don't know, Trish, how do you think about taking advantage of all of these multiple awards, even knowing about them and then weaving them together with existing activities?
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I think, it's California's a big state. There's a lot of regions, and then within the regions where many of the regions are cluster based through our SEDS, our EDA funded strategy. So navigating kind of who goes forward in an application is an interesting process. We did have a Tech Hub proposal go from our region for the zero emissions vehicle technology. So we'll keep building on that. We see these opportunities, like Linda was saying, as ways to build partnerships. Even if you're not successful, you just work on them and get better for the next time. But we're really pleased about the process of collaborating across the state with our various partners, including our manufacturing extension partnerships and with the state. And we did get a big hydrogen hub award a couple of weeks ago for the greater Los Angeles area. So that will affect those of us who are working on these initiatives in other regions. So it's a process, but these national competitions kind of call us all together to try to collaborate.
Yeah. Alan, in Virginia. So you guys, I know, based on our visit there and your description to us, is kind of early days and trying to work up these collaborations. How do you see progress going in Virginia? What are the tactics that you're looking at employing there?
Oh, well, let me ask, first of all, Mark Whitney, are you on? Have you joined? Mark is going back and forth, and he may have a conflict this morning. But in any case, so what we have done is kind of go back to the drawing board. There's been a reorganization here since you guys were here, and the reorganization has allowed us to acquire strength in the area of workforce curriculum development and in digital engineering and some related areas. And as a result of that, we are rethinking quickly our outreach capabilities. Now, the reason I asked if Mark is still on is Mark has just finished about a month's work of activity and meeting with all the principal partners that we have here to develop new relationships as this organization begins to mature and expand in terms of its competencies. And of course, all of this is, as you know, is focused on the defense sector, and particularly in the naval side of the maritime industry. And so the shipbuilding, or rather the submarine industrial base initiative coming out of NAVC has begun to accelerate its involvement here in this area, most recently including some discussions with us. And so we're now in the process of talking with them about next generation things that we can do, programs in supply chain improvement and workforce improvement, and also government oversight of the manufacturing process. And our goal is to disseminate this information, not just through the partnerships we have, but also through a comprehensive social media campaign.
Yeah.
Relying on electronic monthly newsletters that we were putting out, which were interesting and useful, but didn't convey enough information on a timely basis for it. So that's just a short summary of our approach to it. Thanks for asking, man.
Yeah, no, and one tactic is, of course, to try to get your states more involved in helping to circle the cats. That doesn't happen everywhere, but in a lot of different states are experimenting with tactics to do that. Sally, you in Peoria have been effective in coordinating with other parts of the state. Like in the more populous Chicago region. How have you guys pulled that off? Yeah.
So relationship building over the many years, right? With our Illinois Defense Network, just getting to know the communities, the similarities and differences between our clusters and building from that. And then our recent collaboration with University of Illinois is not recent. It's been a long-standing relationship over the many years through the university centers with EDA, and just continuing to work with them. So the new IFAB Tech Hub, we're not a direct partner, but I'll say affiliate partner, because we've got a lot of the bioprocessing companies here. So again, finding that contribution you can make into a project to make it successful.
Right, and whether or not you win it or not, you keep those relationships going, right, Sally?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Why is that important? Why is that important? Yeah.
It's important because you never know when. You never know when the opportunity will present itself, and to be able to work together and find those common grounds and move it forward.
So how do you make a judgment, right? So joining somebody on a proposal, takes capacity, and you can't do everything, right? So from your neck of the woods, how do you kind of evaluate the cost benefit of participating in some of these collaborative efforts? Yeah.
And leveraging our regional local partners. So we work a lot with our IMEC, which is our MEP, our Small Business Development Center. So just again, those framework of partners, they help us move the needle forward as a larger effort.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I see we have one of our friends from labor here, Stu Bass. Good morning, Stu. You've seen all these regional competitions, and I suppose a lot of our workforce partners around the country are overwhelmed on how to integrate. Do you have any insights on how regions can work better together on integrating around these multiple federal interventions?
Well, the AFL-CIO Tech Institute, as well as the Working for America Institute, are both following these, all these resources that are starting to emerge. I live in Philadelphia. I know this has been designated as a hydrogen hub. And there's a lot of talk about the reformatting of what was an oil refinery for hydrogen. It's been in the papers quite a bit. The Tech Institute is also working with a lot of the tech hubs, and the Working for America Institute is very much as part of that manufacturing sprint that you mentioned. The way to get in touch with I put the Working for America Institute website into the chat. And then we could help you, whoever is interested in engaging labor, in finding out who the contacts in your region are. Usually there's a statewide AFL, well, thank you, David. I can't multitask, so thank you for doing that. Usually a statewide network of the AFL-CIO across the country. And then within each state, there is our labor councils. And these councils can be great partners for providing technical assistance about labor and helping you navigate the protocols. Anything else you?
No, that's great, Stu. Appreciate that. And we could talk about this for hours, you guys. This is great. We have just a few minutes left, and wanted to make sure we had space for anything else. That people want to report, good news, challenges, announcements. That we haven't been privy to. We need a lot of help. So, things that come on your radar that you're not seeing in AMCC, please send them our way. We're excited about next steps. We put in there, implement, right? This is generational investments in our regions by all of our BFF agencies. So many of them are on this call and a part of the AMCC network. So we thank you all for participating every week on this. Please send us information yourselves. A lot of great partners there, and our private partners too. So onward. Anything else? We have a couple minutes. So,
I have one.
Oh, please. Yeah. Hi, Lisa.
Hi there. So good to see you. I just wanted to give you an update since I last saw you in DC. We have started discussions with Arizona State University on deploying an advanced manufacturing microfactory and workforce development lab that will funnel all the latest innovations and technologies that my fund, Refashion Ventures, is investing in, the best emerging future state of advanced manufacturing. And we're of course, we applied to the EDA Recompete grant, but we're also curious if there's any other recommendations for funding, because we don't want to have to be waiting on one. Where all systems go, and we'd like to move quickly.
Yeah, if you could send us, Lisa, more information about that, then David and I can look at it and see if that spurs any connects there. Yeah,
that would be amazing. It's also specific to Arizona. We have deep relationships with tribal nations and building microfactories within tribal lands to create generational wealth, ESOP, owner-operated facilities, and also, of course, because of the Hispanic population in Arizona. It's a dream partnership. So yeah, I'll follow up.
Oh, that sounds great, Lisa. Very inspiring. Great. Anything else for the good of the order? All right. Thank you all. We'll see you next week. Have a good week.